Next thing I want to talk about is SUVA salary over the cap. And I'm not going to be able to do this topic complete justice today, but I at least want to give you a heads up on some of the key issues and also just show you kind of how we handle it in the RAC to manage these effectively. So if you look in the folder under SUVA, there's actually a presentation that Nancy Lonhart, our leader, presented with the two financial compliance managers in RMG. They snuck this in February of 2020, just before everything shut down and nobody got to see each other anymore. So there's a really comprehensive presentation here about how to set these up. So again, Stanford University Veterans Affairs faculty means they spend time at both the VA and at Stanford, and we only manage the Stanford portion of their effort, but we need to understand what the full picture is. And so I'm going to show you this. This is how there can be a lot of flavors of this, right? The VA time is represented by eighths. You can have anywhere from 1/8 to 8/8. I think for ease of understanding, 8/8 is the best way to look at it, because what that means is this is your VA time is 66.67%, means 2/3 of their time is spent at the VA, and then the Stanford University time is 1/3, right? So we are only housing 1/3 of that faculty member's effort here at Stanford. The other 2/3 is at the VA. So obviously they're also being paid from two different places. And so the pay that's at Stanford is called parity pay. So when you're setting up the labor schedule for any SUVA person, you need that parity pay calculation from faculty compensation. Now that's usually held by your DFA or your division manager. So definitely check with them. You don't have to go directly to faculty comp, as long, they should have those on file. And it's the same thing that Nancy told us about a few sessions ago. Same thing applies here. Base plus variable plus administrative supplement is the same calculation you're using in the SalCap spreadsheet for the SUVA person. So there's a lot of information about exactly how you do this calculation, but I want to show you that this is the Excel workbook, and you can see here, I have a sample SUVA calculation that just to give you a sense of what it looks like when you actually put it together. The tab exists on the blank SalCap template that is saved in the training materials. This tab is always there. It's just that you don't always need it. So here's the same chart we just talked about, where the 8/8 equals 2/3 time at the VA, 1/3 time at Stanford. You can put in their whole pay, but that calculation is not used anywhere because it's not proportional. It doesn't mean that 2/3 of their pay is at the VA and 1/3 is at Stanford. It doesn't mean that at all, just their time. And the split could be completely different. So what you do is you put in the number of eighths. When you type this in, you can see how it automatically updates. So if I'm putting in 8/8, then there's my 33% time. That's the Stanford effort, 33%, just like we see over here in the chart. Here's where you put the parity pay. This is the Stanford portion of the pay, and it's base plus variable plus administrative supplement. Then you have your regular cap. And then what this does is it calculates based on the 33%. It's 33% of the cap that you're using to cap this person's salary on federal awards. So that's the first number that you need from this tab. Then you say, okay, this PI is committed 10% effort. That's 1.2 calendar months of a full-time equivalency, but they don't have full-time effort at Stanford. So the percent to be charged in the labor schedule here at Stanford, again, tied to the 33%, the 1/3 that we're spending here. So we have to triple the effort. So in the labor schedule, we're doing 30% effort. And you can see that the number makes sense. 10% of 197.3 is 19,730. That's exactly 10%. This is the amount of salary to charge to the grant for 10% effort. It's just that to get to that number for a 8/8 VA, you have to put 30% into the labor schedule. So what does this look like? So what we do is I actually add a column here that just shows what was the FTE effort. Here's our 10% again. This is what we committed to the sponsor. And then I have the 8/8 converted effort for the labor schedule is 30%. So you can see here, I've got my adjusted cap, 65,767. That number came from right here. I put it right here. I know that this is the amount of effort committed to the sponsor. If you look at the sum, that's 33.3%. That's the third that's housed here at Stanford. And then every one of these numbers is tripled. So 10% becomes 30, 5 becomes 15, 3.3 becomes 10, 5 becomes 15. And if you sum these, that's 100. So your labor schedule here on the Stanford side is going to be at 100%. The other thing I want to alert you to is that there is an MOU policy for keeping all of these arrangements straight. I've got a copy of it here. You can refer back to it if you find that you are working with the SUVA. There are 4 times when you have to change the MOU at just in time for NIH awards, at award time for any other sponsor. Anytime those 8s change, obviously the effort and the cap is going to change. And anytime the PI indicates that a change in the effort between the institutions, because sometimes they'll have a portion that's charged at Stanford and then a portion that they call VA contributed, which is not charged to the grant, but it's on the MOU that they are devoting the effort. So to keep all this straight, I create a tab for myself that just lists the awards, the SPO numbers, the Stanford PTAs. If there's an MOU reference, these are the VA references. I don't know what they mean, but I tie it back so that I understand what award is being discussed. And then the effort committed to the sponsor. Again, here we've got our 33.3% on the Stanford side, the proposed Stanford effort, and then the VA is the 66.7, and it all totals to 12. So these are just some tools to help you kind of unravel these SUVA arrangements. Again, there's a lot of resources in the folder. Sample spreadsheets. There's even an older version of that presentation that may have a little bit of different information that, I mean, just a different way of looking at it that may help you. So lots of information in the files to kind of help you navigate the SUVA faculty appointments.